Are you able to do a video on teeth brushing for 1-year-olds, young toddlers? It's a battle, and how can we get them to do it? So, what do you tell parents? And it can be about teeth brushing, it can be about things along those lines when it comes to stuff that needs to be done, but that we don't typically love doing.
Yeah. So the best way to get cooperation from young children is play and silly based kinds of approaches. I tell parents this, and I will have parents who say, look, I don't want to put on an effing puppet show just to get my kids to put her shoes on. I just don't want to do it. But the truth is, we spend so much more energy in the battle that could be prevented if we're just a little bit sillier. So here are some, off the top of my head, some suggestions, stuff I tried with my kids for getting in the car seat, putting shoes on, brushing teeth. Specific to brushing teeth, have her or him brush your teeth. And while they
Right.
brush your teeth, you're brushing their teeth, right? And you can even make it competitive. Can we beat our time? But by that meaning, can we go longer than we did last time, not shorter?
Gotcha.
So you can do that. Also, you can, if they have a favorite character, if you're looking for, you'd be like, I'm going to look for Elmo in there. Let me see. And as you're brushing, I don't see Elmo. Do you think Elmo's in there? So you're kind of being silly about that. Using an accent or trying to imitate their favorite character. Sometimes I'd pull out the Mary Poppins British accent to try to get them, like I would order them around with pretending I was Mary Poppins. But, in terms of like car seats, one of the suggestions or one of the things I did that worked a lot was reverse psychology with a silliness, right?
Right.
I was, please don't get in your car seat today because my imaginary friend Herman is in there. And so if you sit in your car seat, you're going to sit on Herman and he's going to get really weird and start getting upset. And then I have to do that weird dance to calm him down. They can't wait to get into their car seat. So just if we're using silliness, play, that kind of thing, or they can be brushing the teeth of a doll or a stuffed animal while
Right.
you're helping brush their teeth. So just anything that's creative, silly, playful. What about you? Have you had that battle and what do you do?
We have had that battle, and sometimes it ranges between like they either love brushing their teeth or they hate brushing their teeth. One time it was Christmas a couple years ago, and we're all at our in-laws, and I see Dorothy, who was then probably like 18 months, 2 years, something like that. She's carrying a toothbrush around and brushing her teeth, and I was like, well, where could that toothbrush have come from? Because certainly she didn't climb like into their medicine cabinet and get their toothbrushes at my in-laws house, and traced it back, and this was the toothbrush from under the sink that they
Oh,
used
no.
to clean the toilets and everything like that. And so that
The
was
brown.
like our fun toothbrushing memory was like, how do we move forward from that, and who is going to have to do bedtime kisses tonight after that was in her mouth. But I agree completely with all of that advice. Like, if you can, you don't want to put on a puppet show, but at the same time, if you can get them on board, then it will take a lot less time and cause a lot less stress. I like the
Yeah.
idea of letting them brush the teeth of the stuffed animals and things like that. Carrying a toothbrush around a bit, I think, is fine, and just getting in the habit of that. Honestly,
Yep.
our kids brush their teeth while we brush our teeth for the most part, so they will try and find a toothbrush if they see us brushing our teeth. And so, yeah, that's my advice for that too. I think just making it
They
silly
can
and
they can even chew on a toothbrush a little bit
sure,
while you're reading stories to them, and I know it's ideal to brush their teeth after the last meal or drink that isn't water for the day. But some days, if you feel like, look, tonight is going to be not, we're going to have major battles tonight, I can see it coming, do it before dinner if you have to, and then
right.
have them take a drink of water and rinse your mouth out. Just, we don't have to be rigid about it being always, the same thing. And we just got to be flexible when they're that young.
Well, I think that's part of it too, is the control. Like, you're trying to get them to do something on your timetable when maybe they're
Right.
not game for that. And if they see you, and last night we had to kind of like hold them down or do a headlock to get them to brush their teeth, then that will cause a lot of resistance. And so if instead we can kind of partner with them and realize that the perfect is the enemy of the good, and brushing their teeth before dinner, if it's more tolerable and gets the teeth brushed at least, is better than a fight and all of those things. So I
And
like that.
one more
Okay.
idea. One more idea is, even 1-year-olds, it's really fun for them to have a say in things. So let them pick out the toothbrush, right?
Right.
And one thing that's really helpful is to have 2 or 3 options. So then it's not like you have to brush your teeth, but like which toothbrush are you going to pick tonight? Which one's your favorite one today? Right. So then they feel like they're having a choice. So those are just some, you spend an extra $1.79, but that's worth not having the battles, so that's another idea.
That is good advice. Give them control back so that they can have some control, and then you can have the control when you need it. And I think that applies to everything.
It's not worth the battle. I saw somebody somebody was posting different meltdowns their kids were having about different things, and one of them was that the kid was having a total tantrum because her mom wouldn't let her fall asleep with a half-eaten apple. And I thought, you know what? Who cares? Let her fall asleep. I mean, unless there's a safety choking issue or something like that. Sometimes kids want to do really, I want to sleep with a box of Band-Aids. Well, as long as they're safe and they're not going to eat them and they're not choking hazards, that is not, the place to like make your stand. Do not hang your cross on some of the issues that we get really rigid about. They're not worth the battle.
I agree completely, and I think that is something that parents often struggle with is they have to do everything that I say in the order that I say it, but if they don't, then they're walking all over me, or I'm going to spoil them by catering to their demands for, a box of Band-Aids in their bed at night or something like that. And I just don't see that. I see that kids are much more willing to do what we need them to do if we're willing to play ball and realize that maybe we have to negotiate, or things don't have to go perfectly, but we can try and set the mood, but then, allow them a little leeway within there.
Absolutely. We don't have to be insecure about our control. Things happen all the time where we are in control. They have so little control truly over the way their world works. And it's almost like if we're really rigid and saying, I'm in charge and you have to do everything I say in the order I say it and the way I say it. That actually is more of a what we would call like an authoritarian type of parenting style instead of an authoritative one. And the outcomes for that are just not as good. Kids actually are not better behaved. They're not less spoiled. They actually get better at hiding their bad behavior. And they know that they can't come to you because you're the kind of person who's really rigid and going to be really judgmental and punitive about the missteps that they have. So it's actually better for our kids in terms of internalizing boundaries and being responsible if we're not so rigid and demanding about being in control.
Great. I mean, this has been like the most explosion of great parenting information, all about just getting how to get a toothbrush or a kid to brush their teeth. I love it. This is like exactly what I was hoping for. Thanks for watching. Before you go, will you hit the thumbs up like button? Because that will make me feel great and it will make you feel great too. Hit subscribe so that you don't miss another episode. And if you have a question that you would like me to answer, just text me. It's 402-256-0768 and I will answer your questions live in an upcoming video. Keep up the good work.